What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in on today's video. We are working on Old Blue here today. We've got a little bit of an upgrade we are making. I want to give you guys a little bit of an update on the truck, and then yeah, we're going to get into the install for today's video. So we did a whole slew of work on this old girl, but if you guys have been following the channel, you know we've got a big set of injectors in here. We've got a KC Stage 3 drop-in turbo. We did put an intercooler on this truck. We've got dual high-pressure pumps down here in the valley, regulated return fuel system, 6.7 fuel pump. The injectors are a 275-200. They're B codes, so you know they're a little smoky. We actually have made 575 on the dyno with this old girl. A couple of things here. We need to address our soot issue in the back there. So we made a custom downpipe, and it's a tight fit back here. So the flange right there, we need to get that figured out on our downpipe. The other thing I started to notice too is you can see on our hood here, we've got some spray, and I believe that this connection right here, because I'm seeing some pooled up oil, I'm thinking we might have a little bit of a high pressure oil leak coming from this connection. So we might just have to get new fittings, new 90s for that location to take care of that problem. And then I also noticed in the front here, this is for our low pressure oil. You can see we're seeping a little bit of oil out of that fitting. We do have gauges on the inside of the truck. One for, we've got an Edge CTS, and so that's what this is for, to monitor fuel pressure. And then we've got an autometer gauge for our analog gauge for our low pressure oil. One of the more recent things we added was this line right here. So this is coming off of the side of the block down here, and it's feeding our high pressure oil reservoir. We were running our dual pumps, and we were running the low side empty and dropping low pressure oil. So we don't want to do that. So we had to add this in to help supply and keep this reservoir full. Fortunately, after doing this, took care of the problem. So it's looking good. We got a couple of things to tidy up. We tried to be budget minded with the engine build. So we did the valve springs to the heads. We did ARP head studs one at a time. The KC Stage 3 drop in instead of going to a T4 setup. Regulated fuel return. The injectors, those were a used set of injectors that we had sent out to Unlimited Diesel. So a lot of stuff we tried to be budget minded and wanted to obviously push the limits of the engine right to the breaking point, but hopefully just before the breaking point. So the intercooler we actually stole from the race truck project, the 6.0 race truck project. And so we're actually going to be making an upgrade on the intercooler because I think it's going to benefit substantially. And so I'm going to show you guys which one we went with, why, and we're going to see if it makes a difference. So the intercooler that we have is from CSF. It's a drop-in 6.0 powerstroke intercooler. It's the cheaper one, as you can see, made in China. But anyway, this intercooler, it's got the steel end tanks on both sides, and really, it's just a stock replacement. So it's not a bar and plate design intercooler. Simply just a drop-in steel end cap replacement for the 6.0 powerstroke, which is obviously a really common swap when you're going to an intercooler on your OBS Ford. So kind of explored some different options, and SPE actually got a hold of me, and they went ahead and sent us out a brand new intercooler. This is their bar and plate design, and I'm really excited to give it a shot here, and we're gonna see if it can make a difference. So this is not going to be your top dollar intercooler. However, I think if you're being budget minded, this might be a good option, and so I'm hopefully going to answer that question today. I do want to mention SPE did send this to me for free, and so I'm not going to sit here and say that this is the greatest intercooler in the world, but I want to at least notify you guys, let you know if this is actually a good option or not. And honestly, the OBS 7.3 here is the perfect candidate to figure that out in. Oh, first impressions on the boxing, not bad. Intercoolers are a lot like radiators. When you get them shipped in, you want to double check and go over everything. This one appears to be packaged up fairly well. They got tons and tons of foam packaging in here to protect this thing. I just kind of peeled this back and looked at our fins, and everything looks beautifully and untouched inside the box. So we're going to get this guy pulled out. So a couple of things that they market this intercooler is, first of all, a much thicker core. I believe the factory intercooler is a little over 2 inches. This is going to be a little bit over 3 inches. Another thing they boast is because of the larger core, you end up with about a 35% larger capacity of air that's going to be able to flow through this thing, which is really pretty substantial. Obviously, we are still working with the end caps here that are aluminum instead of our crimped on end caps that you're going to find in with a lot of 6-liter intercoolers. I'm pretty impressed with this here. You know, I really like the size of this end cap and kind of how it gradually comes down to feed this whole intercooler. It's a little bit tighter on this side, probably due to clearance issues, but overall, first impressions, not bad. Not bad at all. Well, we're going to do the inevitable. We got the grill off. We got both of our headlight assemblies off, and we're going to just go ahead and pull our header panel off. A bunch of little 8mm heads here, and we'll be able to get this out of the way. And then I know for sure we can get this intercooler out. Okay, so we've got both intercoolers here. You can see, take a few other things apart, but we got it out of there. It's definitely a snug fit. You know, I had to do quite a bit of trimming through here when I installed the intercooler, which is very common when putting one of these in here. But nonetheless, we've got the SPE one here. We've got the OE replacement one from CSF right there. You can see this is definitely a thicker core for the SPE one. I also noticed too that it might be a touch taller as well, which is not something that they claim, but it's definitely a touch taller. But I think the biggest thing here, guys, to realize is that you're getting a thicker core. You're going to be able to flow more air through this core, and then in addition to that, being a bar and plate design, it's a much better, more efficient design. So the effectiveness of cooling the air down, so dropping your EGTs, increasing spool, everything that comes along with just simply colder temperatures going into the engine, get all the benefits there. So, okay, so after quite a bit of screwing around here, we've got the intercooler in. I want to show you guys a couple of things. Because of the thicker core, we had some issues getting it in, so I did have to open this pocket up a little bit more to be able to get our mount behind the core support. We also had to space out, you can see the spacer in there. It's just a 2003 6-liter turbo bolt spacer. Anyways, so we had to space that out a little bit because we had a clearance issue on the core support down here. So, you know, 1/4 of an inch, whatever. But that got us clearance on both sides, just like that. And then we did have to trim just a scotch off of this corner on the core support. This side right here is a really well done as far as the sizing and just the nice radius that they've put on these. Comparatively, if you look here on this same side on the CSF, you know, you're not getting that nice big swoop up to the top and bottom of the intercooler like you are on the SPE one. So that is definitely going to be a big improvement in addition. So well done there. They did do it a little bit better on this side as well compared to factory. But because it's a 6-liter intercooler, they weren't able to take full advantage of these pockets. But nonetheless, it is in. It's looking good. We're going to get our boost tubes hooked back up, and we got to touch up a couple of these little oil leaks, and then we are going to go for a drive. Okay, another clearance issue because of the thicker core. We did end up hitting the bottom side of our hood hinge here, and so we did have to clearance that just a touch right there at the bottom. All right, everything is back together. Intercooler's in, pipes are hooked up. We did reseal our low pressure switch there, and I tightened up this this fitting over here, this oil line fitting going to our passenger side head. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing fired up, and then it's time to go for a drive. All right, guys, so we're gonna go for a quick test drive here and torture test the new intercooler. To my experience, this center number here is gonna be our boost. We have seen upwards of 50 plus PSI of boost, so that'll definitely be a good test for this intercooler. And we might see a little bit of a drop in pressure actually because of the larger core intercooler that we have. Like I said, we've got dual pumps on this thing, so we gotta monitor our low pressure oil, make sure we're not running her dry. And yeah, we don't care about EGTs, so here we go. That is on the hottest tune that we have, which is the 5th. Oh no, it's not the hottest tune. We're in tune 2. Tune 5 is our hot tune, so now we're gonna have to do that all over again and see what our boost is. That might have been why our boost was a little low. We've got a 6-position Hydra. I say 6-position, it's got 6 tunes in it. SDK Performance tunes this thing. And we are on a stock bottom end. Alright, so we've got it up into tune 5 now. We're going to go do another pull. Problem on that one. But it did make about 52 PSI of boost.
Sheesh.
What do you think of that?
Goodness gracious. This is illegal.
That's about what 600 horsepower feels like.
That's intense. That's a lot.
The truck's pretty light too, so it's quick.
The amount of smoke that just came out of that exhaust. The people behind you couldn't see.
Yeah, they're B-code injectors, which just means that they're pretty oil hungry, and it makes them smoky.
Black.
Yeah. We definitely dealt with some traction problems, though. I don't know if you heard the tires squeak.
I couldn't hear a damn thing.
Yeah, it's a little hard to hear over the exhaust, but
Over the vroom vroom.
I heard it, and then we kind of got sideways just a little bit. And I was like, oh, it's crazy. that last tune is the Lope tune from SDK. Of course, we had to get that one. We're trying to have some fun with the truck, and yeah, that tune's a lot of fun. Turns a lot of heads, and what it's happening is the IPR valve is opening and closing, which is allowing it to lope like that. But then it also makes the throttle like super touchy, because you'll be in the throttle and then the IPR percentage will jump up, and then yeah, so it shoots up, and it's kind of cool. Almost sounds like a little bit of a two-step. You can drive it in Tune 6, but it's a little jumpy. Up to 100 miles an hour really, really fast.
I felt that traction for sure.
Well, guys, I'd say that is a great success. Got the new intercooler in. It's holding 50+ PSI of boost pressure. We didn't blow any boots, and the truck is running just absolutely awesome. And so thank you, and shout out to SPE for the deal on the intercooler. Budget friendly, and I mean, outside of where it might be made, I think overall it's a decent intercooler. You do get a thicker core, and you've got a bar and plate design, which is going to cool the air more effectively, which is going to in turn create more power for the truck. Colder air equals more power every single time with a diesel truck. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Stay tuned. We got more action coming with this truck and the sled pull and dually. Thank you again. Like, subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next video.